Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Mason Rudolph breaks silence on Steelers' George Pickens trade. Quarterback Mason Rudolph experienced quite a bit of success throwing to wide receiver George Pickens during his 3 starts for the Pittsburgh Steelers at the end of the 2023 season. If Rudolph is going to have that kind of success again should he start for the Steelers this fall, he will have to develop chemistry with new targets. Rudolph suggested that's what has to happen when he shared his reaction to the Pickens trade with Steelers insider Mark Kaboly. "I tried to feed Pickens as much as we could when we played because good things tended to happen when you did," Rudolph told Kaboly on Monday. "But I understand the way things go. There was just a need, I guess, for a fresh start." The Steelers agreed to trade Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys on May 7. Pittsburgh sent Pickens and a 2027 sixth-round pick to Dallas for a 2026 third-rounder and a 2027 fifth-rounder. Steelers' Mason Rudolph could really miss George Pickens. Rudolph experienced the best stretch of his career during the final 3 2023 regular season games. Pickens made a significant impact during that stretch. During 2023, Rudolph completed 74.3% of his passes for 3 touchdowns in 4 games. Rudolph was also 3-0 as a starter and averaged 9.7 yards per attempt. Pickens played in all of those contests. In his Steelers career without Pickens, Rudolph is 5-for-1 with a 61.5% completion percentage and 6.2 yards per pass. Last year with the Tennessee Titans, Rudolph was 1-4 and completed 64% of his passes for 6.7 yards per attempt. Ironically, though, Rudolph likely understands better than the average Steelers player the value of a potential fresh start. He received that with the Titans last season after a roller coaster first 6 years with the Steelers. At one point, the franchise appeared to view Rudolph as a potential Ben Roethlisberger successor. But Rudolph found himself buried on the Steelers' quarterback depth chart before receiving another opportunity at the end of 2023. Rudolph moving forward with Steelers' current receivers. Rudolph won't have the connection with Pickens anymore in 2025. On paper, the Steelers' receiving depth probably isn't as good right now as it was in 2023 either. But the cupboard isn't completely bare. The Steelers still have tight end Pat Freiermuth, who was playing during Rudolph's 2023 hot streak. Pittsburgh also traded for 2-time Pro Bowl receiver DK Metcalf in March. Behind Metcalf, the Steelers will be counting on Calvin Austin III continuing his development, and former third-rounder Roman Wilson bouncing back from an injury-plagued rookie season. Rudolph sounds excited about working with those receivers. "We're moving forward with the guys we've got on this roster, and DK Metcalf, he's a pro's pro," Rudolph told Kaboly. "The way he takes care of his body and how inquisitive he is asking question." Veteran receiver Brandon Johnson is also on Pittsburgh's offseason roster. He played just 3 games for the Steelers last season, but Rudolph included him on his list of targets he's thrilled to be working with in his Pittsburgh return. "It's a solid group of guys. Just looking forward to the start of practice here in a couple weeks," said Rudolph. The big question around Rudolph is whether he will actually receive a chance to start or will the Steelers finally be able to sign Aaron Rodgers. Mason Rudolph speaks out on Steelers' Aaron Rodgers pursuit. NFL analysts wondered during the draft if the Pittsburgh Steelers received reassurance from quarterback Aaron Rodgers that he would sign with the team. That would explain why the Steelers didn't select a quarterback until the 6th round. But if the Steelers have received any kind of guarantees from Rodgers, they haven't shared them with fellow quarterback Mason Rudolph. Rudolph explained to Steelers insider Mark Kaboly on Sunday that he has no inside information about Rodgers or any other signal caller the team could pursue this summer. "I haven't had any contact with any potential quarterback they might bring in," Rudolph told Kaboly. "Whoever they bring in and whoever it is will determine. I learned a long time ago that the financial compensation will tell you what's going to go down in terms of the depth chart," Rudolph added. "I get it. All I can do is keep having a good spring." Make the most of every rep. That's what I've done my whole career. I am confident that I will be able to play well and win games when my name is called. The Steelers drafted Rudolph in the third round of the 2018 NFL Draft. After 1 year with the Tennessee Titans, the Steelers brought back Rudolph on a 2-year, $7.5 million contract this offseason. Steelers Mason Rudolph in similar situation as 2022. Interestingly, Kabylie compared the situation Rudolph is currently in with Pittsburgh to where he was with the team 3 years ago. With Will Howard and Skylar Thompson the two other signal callers on Pittsburgh's roster, Rudolph is QB1 on the team's current depth chart. Rudolph also entered the 2022 offseason as the team's projected starting quarterback. That quickly changed, though, after free agency and the draft. The Steelers signed Mitch Trubisky and then drafted Kenny Pickett. This business hardens you, and I have been through that before, Rudolph told Kabylie. I thought I had a shot in 2022, then all of a sudden they brought in Mitch and Kenny. I've been through that before, and you have to keep working and stay the course. The difference this year is how the Steelers have approached Rudolph's situation. Although he sits at the top of the depth chart, the Steelers haven't publicly endorsed Rudolph as the team's starter like in 2022. Kabylie wrote Rudolph agreed to return to Pittsburgh without any assurances of his place on the depth chart. Rudolph dressed for just 1 game in 2022. But with Pickett injured during December 2023 and Trubisky struggling, Rudolph finally received an opportunity to play. He led the Steelers to 3 consecutive wins to end the 2023 regular season. Rudolph shares Aaron Rodgers' story. With uncertainty surrounding the team's quarterback depth chart, it would be natural for Rudolph to want the Steelers to avoid signing the 4-time MVP. Without Rodgers, Rudolph has a much better chance of starting in 2025. But the veteran quarterback, who will turn 30 in July, spoke highly of Rodgers to Kabylie. Specifically, Rudolph shared a story about how Rodgers offered him support after a preseason game. I had a rough, early outing, and he came over and said hello and offered some words of encouragement and motivated me to keep working hard, Rudolph said. It doesn't happen a lot. He went out of his way to say hello to me, and that was awesome. Rudolph posted a 1-4 record as a starter with the Titans last season. But in 5 seasons with the Steelers, Rudolph went 8-1. During 2023, Rudolph completed 74.3% of his passes and averaged 9.7 yards per attempt with 3 touchdowns and 0 picks in 4 games. NFL Insider says all signs point to Aaron Rodgers signing with specific team. One of the looming questions this NFL offseason is where will quarterback Aaron Rodgers sign in free agency. According to NFL Insider Matt Bowen, he's destined to ink a deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rodgers has been linked to the Steelers for much of his free agency, but Mason Rudolph did return to Pittsburgh on a short-term deal, and the team also drafted Ohio State quarterback Will Howard in the 6th round of the 2025 NFL Draft. Nevertheless, Bowen suggests Rodgers will eventually sign with the Steelers. All signs are pointing at Rodgers heading to Pittsburgh, where he will have a strong run-game foundation under coordinator Arthur Smith and a play-action system that can keep the pocket firm, Bowen writes. The quick game will play a role here, too, given Rodgers' accelerated release time and field vision. And his number 1 option would be newly acquired receiver DK Metcalf, who thrives at creating explosive plays. But with diminished mobility and declining pocket poise, Rodgers can't consistently extend or create on second reaction plays. He's a pocket thrower at this stage of his career, and Smith's game plan should reflect that. In 2024, Rodgers threw 28 touchdown passes and 11 interceptions with the New York Jets. His 48.0 QBR ranked 25th in the league. By February, the Jets had notified Rodgers the organization did not plan on bringing him back. Rodgers revealed on the Pat McAfee show in April that he was dealing with circumstances in his personal life, which in turn prolonged his decision to sign with the team in 2025. The Steelers have 3 quarterbacks on the roster in Rudolph, Howard and Skylar Thompson, none of whom were full-time starters in the NFL.